Well, my name is Greg Hoover. I'm the father of Miss Sarah Story, and I'm also used to serve in the military. I'm wearing one of the uniforms that I had in the Army. I served in the Army for 23 years, and my rank is Lieutenant Colonel, and that's a long word. So when just in talking and conversation, we shorten that to Colonel. So if you wondering what is your name, people would call me Colonel Hoover.
What does Semper Fi mean?
Semper Fi is short for the Latin phrase Semper Fidelis, and that means, it's Latin, it means always faithful, and that is the motto of the United States Marine Corps. So that they can sometimes they'll shorten it to say Semper Fi, but what they're really meaning is Semper Fidelis, always faithful.
What country are you fighting in Afghanistan?
Well, in Afghanistan, probably 20 years ago, a group of people called the Taliban took over that country in terms of the government, and while in power, they allowed a terrorist organization called Al-Qaeda to live in that country. So when the United States went to war in Afghanistan, we're basically fighting Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization, but also the group of people called the Taliban, who at one time controlled Afghanistan.
What is your favorite weapon?
The first weapon I was trained on was the M16 rifle, and I guess that was my favorite weapon the whole time I was in the Army.
Who is your boss?
Well, in the military, we have something called a chain of command. So the next higher ranking person would be my boss. And it's similar to a school situation, because as a student, their boss would be the teacher, and then the teacher's boss would be the principal. So it's very similar in the military, where you have someone who's a higher rank than you. It's called a chain of command. So that's how I would answer that question.
What is the highest rank?
The highest rank is a 4-star general, and I have a picture I was going to give to the boys. I don't know if you can even see this, but from as you're looking at this picture, from left to right, it shows the lowest rank of the officer, which is a second lieutenant, and then the highest rank is a 4-star general. Now, we had 5-star generals, but the last time we had a 5-star general was World War II. And so this is my rank, Lieutenant Colonel, which is sort of in the middle. I have a college classmate who achieved the rank of a 4-star general, so we're real proud of him.
Do you have to go to college?
You don't have to go to college to join or to be in the military. In my case, I chose to go to college, and I went to a military academy, or a college that's a military academy. The name of the military academy is United States Military Academy. It's located at West Point, New York, about 50 miles northeast of New York City. And I brought a yearbook from my time as a student there. And so this is a picture of some of the barracks. I lived in one of those rooms, and you can see the students there are called cadets. You can see them marching. We call the big field in front of the barracks the plain. And above the barracks is our chapel, so that's sort of interesting. And just one more picture, since I have your attention. This is just a random picture of some of the activities at the military academy. But that's me right there, holding a saber, and I guess I'm giving some commands to some other cadets. So I thought that was sort of neat.
How long do most wars last?
Well, I think if you look at history, that traditionally most wars would last 4 to 15 years. And these are what you would call maybe our global wars, World War I and World War II. Currently, our involvement in Afghanistan, I guess in some ways it is called a war, but we've been there for 17 years, and that's longer than everybody watching this tape has been alive. So I hope that war will be over soon.
What is the best weapon?
I think the most common weapon, you heard me say that the weapon I used during my time was called the M16, which is a long rifle. And now they have what's called the M4, which is a shortened version of that same weapon. I think that's the most common weapon that you will find soldiers using.
How old do you have to be to join the military?
You have to be 18 years old to join the military.